Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Monday Night Football. And yet again, we have a doubleheader of fun. First game kicks off at 8:15 p.m. The Baltimore Ravens head to Tampa to battle Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. And in the second leg of the doubleheader, kickoff 9 p.m. there, the Chargers head to Arizona to battle the Cardinals. Victory Monday's a sweet feeling. As you can see, I have the Lions hat on. I've made no qualms. I've made no secret of my fandom. But I will say this, I always, wear a hat on the broadcast or a hoodie or something like that. Not that I'm a 40-year-old man. That's 100% true. April 14th, 1984. And it's not like I'm out here wearing jewelry or getting, weird tattoos trying to appear younger. But when I have this Lions hat on forward and there's a glare under the bill, I actually find I do look like a 40-year-old man. Granted, I'm bald. There's no secret there, but I'm not graying. But for some odd reason, a hat can change a lot of things. Instead, I wear the backwards cap sometimes. Maybe that makes me look younger than I'm supposed to be. And truth be told, I'm not trying to appear anything that I'm not. The Lions are rolling. That is a fantastic thing to say. But we're here to talk about Monday Night Football. And the hat and the way it made me look just caught me by surprise as I'm looking at myself as I'm recording the broadcast. But let's get into this slate here. We got two games, and per usual, any Monday night doubleheader game in the past, actually the past being just this year, I've looked at it from a main slate perspective. So the Monday main is two games: Baltimore, Tampa, Chargers at Arizona. I'm not going to be giving you single slight prices, right? I'm going to be, Lamar is 9.5 on FanDuel, $8,000 on DraftKings. Single slate, those numbers are probably going to be multiplied by around 2. But again, I love the idea and the flexibility of putting together a lineup for the Monday main, which is two games. And that's what we're going to do here tonight, right? There's only 4 quarterbacks going, 4 DSTs. So I'm going to mix and match quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And instead of going through each position and talking about 5 to 6 players at running back or 4 to 5 players at wide receivers, I have everything in front of me. They're highlighted, and I've built a lineup for you, and I'm going to put it together on air as we go through this. And at the tail end of it, I'll have 10, 15 bucks on it, maybe even 100 if it feels right, and you can do the same thing. So instead of, all the guesswork of, I would prefer Michael Wilson and Rashad Bateman because it's sneaky. That's what my whole DFS aura is raised on. Bottom of the barrel, those cheap plays help your lineup pop and all that. I'm just going to build a solid lineup in front of you to be used in a cash game if you like, or in a GPP. GPP obviously will move it around, but I have a pretty solid lineup going here, and it strikes me as more of a cash game given the fact that it's got Godwin, Zay Flowers, and what's his name, Michael Evans. But the fact that I like the Cardinals DST or Will Dissly at tight end, so there's hints of cash game, but there's also a little bit of GPP flavor sauce in this one. So let's get right into it. As I said, the 4-2 Baltimore Ravens go to Tampa Bay, who's also 4-2. That one kicks off at 8:15 p.m. Over under there is around 50 points, and I think it's an over kind of game. When you look at some of the recent betting trends, over in 5 of Baltimore's last 6 games, Tampa Bay over in 5 of their last 7 games. So that just screams over to me. And when we look at the other game across the country, right? Tampa Bay, actually, you're going to go west from Florida to Arizona. Now I'm a TripAdvisor. The Chargers, the 3-2 Chargers, shocking record here, face the Arizona Cardinals, who are 2-4, and that's shocking as well. Arizona to me has got a pretty solid lineup here, but Kyler Murray is not being a magician, but maybe he's made himself disappear a time or two, but he's going to be okay because I have Arizona to win this game. I have Tampa Bay to win the first one. So let's get this together. And again, Tampa Bay around 28-24 is my final score, while Arizona 24-17-ish. So you're thinking, okay, the Tampa Bay wins, that's an over. When you look at Arizona 24-17, you add those up, 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 11, 41. That would be maybe three points, each 3.5 margin of error in the under, because that sits at 44 points. So it's going to be one heck of a night, doubleheader of football. And when we get into this thing, I love Baker Mayfield as my quarterback this evening. Baker Mayfield against the Baltimore Ravens. They're 30th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Baker 7-9 on FanDuel. My notes are He's 6'8". I wrote it. I didn't even write it small. It's so silly. And Baker 6'8" on DK, 24 to 25 completions, around 290 yards. I have 2 touchdown passes for Baker, and he likes to, shook and jive and get the chains moving if nothing's there. So I have him for around 10 to 15 yards. Probably safer to go towards 12 yards on the ground, and we'll move on. To be fair, Lamar Jackson also very much in play, around 230 yards in the air and another 60 on the ground. So you're looking at 300 all-purpose yards for Lamar and 1 touchdown in the air, 1 touchdown on the ground. Again, very much in play, but the salary difference there, it makes all the difference. And by the way, Tampa 31st overall against opposing quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, if you want to go that route, and even Justin Herbert to a certain extent. Arizona's 29th overall against opposing quarterbacks. I have Herb's fine, 220, 225 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's the cheapest quarterback of the 4 on the slate. So I wouldn't knock you if that's what you wanted to do. So far, Baker Mayfield is my preferred choice at quarterback. 6 minutes into the video, we're going to have to speed this thing up or we're going to be here all day. And it wouldn't be half bad, but when we look at the running backs here, let me tell you this, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, James Conner, Trey Benson, Justice Hill. Those guys are in my notes. And when I started to, I had my notes done, I did the projections, I did some highlighting of my favorite plays. And as I was building my lineup, I made it a lock to get James Conner and Justice Hill in my lineup. And then after I put in my 3 receivers and tight ends and defense, the flex position, I had $7,500 left over on FanDuel. And J.K. Dobbins was screaming to me, better get him in that lineup. And to be fair, Michael Wilson was also an option there, Rashad Bateman. But to me, J.K. Dobbins in Arizona, they're 22nd overall against opposing running backs. It seemed too good to be true. And I never like to talk about, absolutes. Too good to be true is a sure thing. It's a slam dunk when we talk about DFS. But 18 to 19 carries for J.K. Dobbins, 90 yards, probably a touchdown on the ground with 2 to 3 receptions for another 20 yards in our flex spot. It is too good to be true, and we'll move on. James Conner also locked into my lineups tonight. The Chargers, it's going to be tough sledding. They're 3rd overall against running backs, but I see a case here where, as I told you at the opening of the video, Arizona hangs 24 points, and the Chargers get to about 17, maybe 20, 21, something like that on the tail end of this thing. I could see a case where Arizona might get up 14 to nothing, 10 to nothing, 14 to nothing, might be a little ambitious, and then a time comes along, Will Dissly catches a touchdown, and the Chargers are right back in this thing. And then to stop Arizona, to stop the Chargers' momentum, they're just going to feed the ball to J.K. Dobbins, and he's been fantastic so far this season. One of the more shocking, delights that we've seen so far this season. So J.K. Dobbins and James Conner so far look to be fantastic. I don't know if I gave you Conner's projections. 18 to 19 carries, 80 yards, 2 to 3 receptions for about 15 to 20 yards. So we got two running backs locked in already, and we're looking at probably 37 to 40 total touches for both guys in those spots. And then we can add in Justice Hill. And I know you probably already know why I'm going to do this, because I have Tampa Bay, I told you, winning this one 28 to 24. And to be fair, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say, that this game is going to look a lot closer than it actually was when it's all said and done. But regardless of the final score, actually, I can't say that because the final score plays a huge role in why I love Justice Hill tonight. I think, at a certain point, Derrick Henry is the battering ram. King Henry, he's just, move the chains, push people down, an absolute exquisite specimen of a man at 30 years old and a running back. But Justice Hill gives them that flexibility to just keep moving, swing passes, get it out to Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman if need be, maybe Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. Justice Hill is that running back who can pick up a blitz. He's good in pass pro, and you can get him a pass out in the flat if need be in an emergency. I think Justice Hill is going to play a huge role tonight in Baltimore's hopeful comeback. Tampa Bay ultimately wins the game, but Justice Hill in terms of game script is where I want to be. So hopefully you got a pen and paper on you already. Got Baker Mayfield as our quarterback, James Conner honor Justice Hill and you slot J.K. Dobbins in as a flex, or you could put Justice Hill in the flex, and then you're able to, you'll have, I think, $1,000-$1,500 left, and you can do what you want in the flex. When we look at the wide receivers, it's pretty clear to me, again, my wide receivers is what makes me think this lineup is more of a cash lineup, because it's Chris Godwin, it's Mike Evans, it's Zay Flowers, 1, 2, 3 in terms of the 1, 2, 3, the highest priced wide receivers on the slate. Baltimore, dead last, 32nd overall against opposing wide receivers. So Godwin, 7.5 on FanDuel, 7.4 on DK. Mike Evans, 8.2 on FanDuel, 7.3 on DK. Godwin, 8 to 9 targets, 6 to 7 receptions, around 85 to 90 yards, and a touchdown reception. I almost did this, same thing, reception, touchdown. I start getting to moving and my brain's going a mile a minute. Mike Evans, 8 to 9 targets, 5 to 6 receptions, around 80 yards and a touchdown. So you're going to get Baker as the quarterback, and you're going to get his two favorite kind of, plays on the field at wide receiver, Godwin and Mike Evans. My third, and probably this stinks to say, as I've said it several times, I have Baltimore to lose. I still think Zay Flowers is a massive part of this game. Zay Flowers and Justice Hill. And again, if you wanted to, kind of put Lamar Jackson in at quarterback and kind of work around what I'm doing, have at it. This video and my notes are always open to interpretation. I'm not the end-all be-all of anything, just having a blast doing all this stuff. Zay Flowers, 7-8 targets, 5-6 receptions, around 70 yards, and he'll catch a touchdown pass as well. Tampa Bay, 27th overall against opposing wide receivers. Michael Wilson is in play for Arizona, as I have them scoring 24. We'll see. And Bateman is in play as well. If you want to put Zay and Bateman and Lamar as your quarterback, have at it. And then you can take out Justice Hill and put in Derrick Henry if you want, and see what we get. Again, I'm not the end-all be-all. My final scores are rarely set in stone. Every once in a while, and you'll know about it because it's a fun thing to do when you hit on the exact final score. When we look at the tight ends, Trey McBride, Cade Otton, Will Dissly, this one is simple. This lineup is so top-heavy in a good way, where I can't see myself spending up for a Trey McBride or a Mark Andrews. Maybe a little bit of Isaiah Likely, sure, but I like Will Dissly in this one. Arizona's 11th overall against opposing tight ends, 4.8 on FanDuel. In comparison to McBride, 6'5", Cade Otton's 5'2", and I know what you're going to say. McBride just got a baked-in kind of targets and looks. Cade Otton to a certain extent. And Chris, if you're stacking up Baker Mayfield and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, that's my fake voice how you're talking right now. Why wouldn't you put Cade Otton in there? You can. You absolutely can. When we put in J.K. Dobbins in the flex spot, there is certainly enough money left where you can take Will Dissly out and you can put McBride or Cade Otton in at tight end, and you're free and clear to kind of move this thing around as you see fit. Hopefully, I'm just here to be a guide, the angel or the devil, whichever you consider me, on your shoulder, saying, yeah, move it along. Yeah, maybe you want to switch out this guy. Because then at the end of the day, all we ever want is that reassurance that we're doing the right thing. Why do we always have start-sit broadcasts and questions? You know what to do. You've done this long enough. You can feel it in your gut and your heart. You just want someone that you like, or you think puts in the time and the work to not second guess, but to rubber stamp what you're doing. And I'm here to tell you, there's no wrong way tonight. Just this is my plan of success, and we'll see how it goes. Give me Will Dissly 4 to 5 targets. That's a little high, right? Justin Herbert is going to look his way. We know that, given the fact that Arizona, I told you, going to jump out 10-0, 14-0. Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball. And last I checked, Justin Herbert is still a stone cold stud at quarterback. Numbers aren't backing that up right now, but we know what this kid is about, and it's lovely. When we look at the DSTs, your guess is as good as mine. I'd prefer the Cardinals. First of all, they're dirt cheap, and of the 4 teams, they're included. So of the other 3 teams, I have them the least for points against. Again, I have the Chargers to score 17, maybe 18 points. That would be a scoregami weird thing. But the Cardinals, dirt cheap, and they're going to give up the less points on the slate. 2 to 3 sacks and interception. No fumble recoveries in my notes, but I think the Cardinals make for a splendid DST play to kind of bring this all together. So let's recap this thing. We'll be around 15 minutes. I'll edit some stuff out and cutting room floor if you want to see it. what it is. But grab a pen. I'm sure you already have one. Sticky note. We're doing Baker Mayfield against the Baltimore Ravens as quarterback. Running backs, the two locks for me, James Conner and Justice Hill. When we look at wide receivers, both Buccaneer boys, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and we're going to come up the back, come up to the side, however you want to do it. Zay Flowers as our third receiver. Will Disley is our tight end. Cardinals DST, and lastly, our flex play. You have around 7.5 on FanDuel, $7,500. I'm putting J.K. Dobbins in there, given the fact I got him and Connor looking at almost 18 to 20 carries. This lineup should hit, whether it's $1,000, whether it's $5, whether you're just looking to double your money, whatever you're after. I hope you get it tonight. Just know I'm putting my money where my mouth is. We've all seen, umpires in baseball, when they're mic'd up and there's an ejection of a manager. Our asses are in the jackpot. So get this, my ass is in the jackpot. I'm playing this line, put my money where my mouth is. I'll see you tomorrow. If you want to chat about this, you can find me on Twitter at Detroit Beastie or at Fantasy Six Pack in the Discord, fantasysixpack.net. See you soon. Let's get together for Thursday Night Football. Then bottom of the barrel at the end of the week. Can't believe this is the end of Week 7. Baltimore wins 28-24, and the Chargers lose in Arizona 24-17. See you later. Bye-bye.